The modern economic landscape is built on a foundational lie. For generations, society has conditioned the global workforce to accept a standardized trade: your finite, non-renewable time in exchange for a flat, predictable salary. This arrangement is widely marketed as security. In reality, it is a structural trap. A salary is a drug designed to keep people comfortable enough to forget their potential, while simultaneously ensuring they remain financially stagnant. When you trade hours for dollars, your earning potential is strictly linear. Your capacity is hard-capped by the 24 hours in a day. It is a mathematical impossibility to achieve true financial freedom using a linear equation. True wealth is not an accident of birth, nor is it a product of random luck. It is the deliberate result of an architectural shift, decoupling your income from your physical hours. This shift requires moving away from the industrial age factory model and embracing the mechanics of modern leverage. Most people spend their lives reacting to economic conditions rather than engineering them. They complain about inflation, stagnant wages, and the rising cost of living, yet they continue to play a game where the rules are rigged against them. To break free, you must adopt a contrarian perspective. You must view time not as a commodity to sell to the highest bidder, but as seed capital meant to fund scalable operations. Architecting a high-trust framework is the first step toward this emancipation. This framework does not rely on permission, managers, or corporate gatekeepers. Instead, it relies on your unique judgment. Judgment is the ability to look at a situation, analyze the variables, and make a high-stakes decision that is consistently correct. In an automated world, routine work is outsourced to machines or cheaper labor markets. However, high-quality judgment cannot be easily replicated or automated. When you combine this judgment with accountability, you create a personal brand of trust. This trust becomes permanent, forming the bedrock of a compounding financial engine that generates freedom long after you stop working. Imagine an engine that operates entirely in the background of your life. It does not take sick days, it does not require a lunch break, and it earns revenue while you sleep. This is not a utopian fantasy or a get-rich-quick scheme. It is the reality of an equity-driven economic model. The fundamental divide in modern society is not between the rich and the poor, but between those who own equity and those who sell labor. If you do not own a piece of a business, a product, or an intellectual property asset, you have no path to true financial independence. You are simply a passenger on someone else's ship, vulnerable to every economic storm. Key journey to building this engine begins with a brutal psychological audit. You must learn to ruthlessly prioritize long-term wealth over short-term social status. Status is a zero-sum game. For you to win status, someone else must lose. It is hierarchical, political, and inherently fragile. Wealth, on the other hand, is a positive-sum game. Creating wealth means creating solutions, assets, and value where none existed before. Society trains individuals to chase status symbols, titles, promotions, and superficial luxuries, because status keeps you compliant within the corporate ecosystem. When you pivot your focus to wealth, you stop seeking validation from peer groups and start seeking ownership of scalable assets. Ownership requires leaning heavily into specialized knowledge. This is the knowledge that you cannot be trained for in a traditional school or university setting. If society can train you, it can train someone else to replace you for less money. Specialized knowledge is found by following your genuine, obsessive curiosity. It looks like play to you, but it feels like work to others. It is highly technical, deeply specific, or highly creative. When you identify this unique domain, you can package it into scalable digital assets. Code and media are the ultimate permissionless leverage tools of the modern era. They require no capital to start and no permission to distribute. A line of code or a piece of digital media works for you infinitely, compounding your influence and revenue globally. The transformation from a time-bound laborer to a leverage-driven asset owner requires a systematic execution strategy. It is not an overnight leap, but a deliberate phase shift. Step 1 is the immediate cessation of status-seeking behavior. You must withdraw your energy from corporate politics and redirect it entirely into asset creation. This requires accepting temporary social invisibility. While your peers are celebrating superficial promotions, You are quietly investing your evenings into building equity. This is where your specialized knowledge moves from a conceptual idea into a tangible product. Step 2 is the radical embrace of personal accountability. True leverage cannot exist without accountability. You must be willing to take public risks and stand behind your judgment under your own name. Accountability is a double-edged sword. It brings personal blame when things go wrong, but it yields immense equity and rewards when things go right. High-trust systems are built on this willingness to be vulnerable to failure. When you operate with high accountability, the market rewards you with the ultimate leverage: capital and partnerships. People want to invest in individuals who have skin in the game. Step 3 is the scaling phase, where your specialized knowledge and accountability are integrated into a digital empire. You take your insights and embed them into software code or distribute them through digital media platforms. These assets become your proxy workforce. They represent your judgment operating at scale 24 hours a day across the globe. The system becomes independent of your physical presence. Your daily schedule shifts from executing routine tasks to refining your judgment and optimizing your leverage points. You are no longer trading hours for a flat salary. You are managing a permanent, compounding financial empire that guarantees absolute personal and financial freedom. The blueprint for your financial liberation is now in your hands. You can choose to remain on the linear path, endlessly trading your non-renewable hours for a flat salary, or you can step into the arena of modern leverage. True compounding wealth is reserved for those who refuse to let corporate gatekeepers dictate their value. It belongs to the individuals who look at their unique judgment, lock in absolute personal accountability, and architect digital assets that work relentlessly while they sleep. The choice to decouple your income from your clock is entirely yours. If you are ready to stop chasing temporary status symbols and start building a permanent equity-driven empire, you need to align with a community that understands the rules of the modern economic game. Take your first high-stakes step right now. Make sure to subscribe to NICE Production. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into advanced mental models and scalable asset frameworks. Drop a comment below sharing the specific knowledge you are building today. Turn your insight into equity. We will see you in the next video.